I'm having so much fun coloring my die cuts using foil and embossing powder techniques, and in this video I am back with part 2 and many more colorful sparkly cards to share. Hello and welcome to Karen's Creative Cards on YouTube. I am Karen Hasheck, and all the cards I share in both part 1 and part 2 are created with dies from dies ... to die for at shopscrapbook101.com. Stacy from Dies to Die For is taking some time off from creating videos as she deals with some health issues, so I'm sharing these videos on both of our channels. Of course, links to her channel and all the products featured are in the description box, as well as links to my blog posts with more information on the cards show. There's also a link to my part 1 video on how to color die cuts with foil and embossing techniques. If you watched that one, you saw this card, and I had described how I did it, and I explained that I wasn't going to throw away this piece of foil after running it through the Mink once with a designer toner sheet from Thermoweb and Brutus Monroe. So the first time through, you saw the pattern, and then but these pieces here were white. But now I'm going to show you how you can take any foil after running it through once with a designer toner sheet or whatever, and then you're going to use a piece of Deco Foil's toner sheets. So these are sold like this, and it's 100% toner on there. And if you take the foil that you have left over and a piece of that toner sheets, you simply put the foil on top, put it in a carrier, and I'm going to cut off that excess of the toner sheet because it sometimes does mark up the carrier. Which is not a problem, and it still works. I just thought I would cut that off. So I have my Mink set to 3, and I have the foil leftover sheet over that toner sheet, and I'm putting it through my Mink Mini on a 3 setting, which is the typical setting for foiling. Now I know that all these techniques can be done also with a laminator, and laminators are a little bit less expensive than the Mink. I just found through all my experience that the Mink holds the heat more uniformly through time and also gets heated up much faster. But again, if you have a laminator, you can still do these techniques. So now all that gorgeous foil has transferred. You can see that there's nothing left, no waste whatsoever. And this is a very cool looking pattern too, and if you wanted that black like for a background or for die cuts out of it, that would be a cool look too. But I just decided, so the first one was done with the gold static from Brutus Monroe. And then I think one of my favorite all-time colors of all the Deco foils is the Rain Glow foil, also from Brutus Monroe. If you look, not only does it have the colors of the rainbow, so the colors change, but it also has stars in there, so it just moves just beautifully. So if we put this through one more time, all that black that still is toner is now going to be rainbow colored and sparkly with stars. So again, I just think that's just gorgeous. There is also a shattered rainbow that's beautiful, but these sheets that have that change in colors and then those stars that move in there, that I just, like I said, it's my favorite, I think, all time, and I will show you why when you see what comes out of here. So when we lift this foil, just look at that. You have the gold static, and then you have those rainbow colors that have those stars in there. I personally, I just love this, and it would be gorgeous for a background, or in this case, I'm going to die cut dies out of that. But again, here's another piece now. Don't throw this away. The pattern, that technique could go on and on and on, you know, with that gorgeous foil. So I did that previously, and I made this card. There is a new die set in the May release, and it is called Trampoline, and it is so fun. Just look at the trampoline has vellum on there, and then the kids are jumping out of it. And I cut the JMP out of that piece, like I just showed you, and it has the rainbow colors and the stars and the movement. Putting a character or something here instead of the letters, called letter substitution. Our minds still tell us it is saying jump, but we have a fun die cut jumping there. So that the die cut set has the 3 kids or 4 kids, and it has the trampoline. And then on the inside, I continued with that gorgeous rainbow and gold for joy, congrats. So it's a congratulations card, jumping for joy, and these parts of this die cut were done with a technique that I'm going to show you in just a minute. So again, all the new die cuts for the May release are colored with foil and different techniques. Here's another one I did with all foil and the double putting it through twice, as I showed you just a minute ago. It is an easel card, and it has the new merry-go-round and park playground and swing set. And then on the inside I have a sentiment that is called party words. So the front has some blue sky and some grass, and then the 2 playground pieces. And it is an easel card, so it stands up, and it says party time with that gorgeous rainbow foil that I just showed you, and some monkey bars there. So it is an easel card, and it stands up for display. Another party time celebration card. I used the Brutus Monroe designer toner sheets, and as I explained in the other video, Brutus Monroe's, you get 2 clear and 2 white. So the white can be, you can add ink to it if you want, and then the clear, they're both the same pattern, and this one's called Brush Strokes, which is very cool, and this would be really cool for a shaker card. But I did that double technique, first putting it through like this, and then taking what was left, putting it on a piece of toner with the silver sketch from Brutus Monroe. And so what you end up with is pieces like this. Now they're all cut up now with those die cuts, but and I liked leaving the black on those. I could put it through it again with a different color and cover up that black, but I thought it looked really neat with that silver and black. And you can see this is the one that I cut the swing set out of. So that again is another version of that double foiling technique, which is very, very cool. Here is another card that, and I'm going to show you how I made this. These are more of the, I'll show them in a minute, May release dies, and I cut one of those trampoline kids up to make a celebration card. So can you see the distressed look on the background there? It is wood planks with distressed look that I did with embossing powder and foil. I was experimenting with other looks with foil and embossing powder, and I discovered my distressed foil technique. I take regular embossing powder, doesn't really matter what color it is, but you do want the regular as opposed to the ultra fine or the super thick. So I tried the ultra fine and that was too fine, and then I tried the super thick thinking, well, you know, if I like it the way it is now, if I have the super thick, but the super thick was really too much. So just any type of regular kind of weight embossing powder. And I know that embossing powder melts, and so I figured, I wonder if it will melt in a Mink or a laminator. And so I played around with it, and I really like the way it makes a distressed look on the cardstock because it grabs the foil as it melts. So I have a piece of the Sunrise transfer sheets or foil from Brutus Monroe again. It has a really cool reds and golds and silvers all together, and also on the card I also am using the dry brush, so they're similar, and of course this has the blue and the gold and the silver, so those are again some of my favorite colors. Now the mini is not as wide as the regular size Mink, of course, but when I make slimline cards I needed a longer pouch to go through, so I bought some of the regular Mink pouches, or you know, to put it through, and so and then I cut them down to fit the width of my mini Mink. So that is what I am putting this through with. Get out the other pieces to finish the card as that goes through. Takes a little while longer because it's longer. In the meantime, I'll show you the new dies that I'm using. This is a very cool slimline die called Slimline Driftwood, and I ended up cutting it apart, but that is the background on this card. And then there is a sandbox and a slide, and so I used that as well. And then I also used the layered Celebrate die from the April release, which I think is maybe one of my favorite words. Celebrate. Celebrate. So now, just where the embossing powder was, it picked up the foil, and it creates like a really cool distressed look, which you could use on, you know, the background of a card or in other ways. And then of course this piece here, again, we're not going to throw it out. You could put it through again with toner on it, and you'd get all that extra color on another piece. So I have made one in advance just to save a little time, and I took all the planks on that background die that I showed you, the Slimline Driftwood die, and I cut it out, and we're going to create a background with these pieces. And what I did was I started on the left and then moved it over to the right, so I'll put those on. So this one I'm going to put over to the left. So it looks like pieces of driftwood with kind of a distressed look to them, which I think is really cool. And then this one we'll put over to the right. Oh, I'm out. That's okay. And then again over to the left. And then to the right. And then I have cut the slide out of one that I did exactly with the same technique, but I used the navy blue with the gold and the silver instead of the red that I showed you the foil. So it was that distressed foil technique with the other color of foil. And then I think I have this piece to show you. Okay, so the this is what I cut the slide out of, and so you can see that it has the black and the distressed look there. And then I did the same technique on a silver card and some of that blue foil, and I cut the edges of the sandbox out with that. And the Celebrate was done with a piece of this, which is black cardstock with the red sprinkled around. So you can see how you can get many different looks. And this jumping character here. And then the inside piece of the sandbox, I used some sand embossing powder with the technique that I showed in the first video, which was to put embossing powder on on the score tape and heat it, and you get a very textured look to it. And so that is the sand for the sandbox. So I think I want some tape to put these on. Make sure they stay. So Celebrate is going to go there. And then on the back of these, I have my Easy Cut adhesive. So they attach very easily. And I have some more of that score tape on the back of this. And that's the sand that will go in the sandbox. So I also took one of the planks that was left over and put it on the inside just for a little fun. And our celebration card is complete. All of these cards were so fun and easy to make with foil and embossing powder techniques to color die cuts made with the new release of dies at Die to Die For. I hope my cards encourage you to give some of the techniques and products a try. Thanks for watching and subscribing to both the Dies to Die For and my channel, and thanks too for helping me share the joy of creativity.